Welcome to another Human Leadership interview. I'm so excited to have Elena Riva today, who is the president of PANINO GIUSTO. First of all, I want to thank you, Elena, for accepting to do this interview in English, because we're in Italy and you're Italian and I speak Italian, so it makes more sense. But my community is pretty international, and the model of your company, I think, is beautiful and will inspire many people around the world. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Nancy, for your kind invitation and for your passion. And I'm very excited to be here and to have this pleasant talk with you about our experience. So thank you very much.
There are so many, I mean, when I thought of this interview, like we like to keep it short and sweet, maximum half an hour. So when I thought of interviewing you and after our chats, there are so many ways that we could take it. So, like I chose 3 macro area.
Okay.
So the first one is something that I appreciate a lot in you when you talk about these companies, that you always acknowledge who created it. Like this saying of we are standing on our past people's shoulders, no? And it's something that I really appreciate from you, because I'm a fan of going to our history to accept who we are today and to move towards the future. And so first of all, tell us how, it's a company that now just celebrated 40 years, but you own it for how long? And tell us about the genius of who created it and what you learned from them and what you loved about them.
PANINO GIUSTO was born in 1979. So as you can imagine, I didn't found it, neither I got it from my family, because I come from Brianza, which is a famous area of our country, and my family own a furniture company. So you would ask yourself, why did you end up working in the restaurant business? Because when I came as a young student to Milano for my university, I came across PANINO GIUSTO. And I immediately fell in love with their delicious panini, with their quality. So I became a very loyal and a regular customers, and I started dreaming of becoming part of their story. Wow. So in 2004, when my first son was 1 year, we started as franchisee, and then in 2010 we bought the whole company. What I really appreciate about it when I remember my first time saying PANINO GIUSTO was the quality of the product, because the founder of PANINO GIUSTO had this, a wonderful idea, disruptive idea. It was the end of the 70s. And at that time, people usually go to restaurant, to trattorie, they usually eat pasta. And panino was considered something a little bit, less important. It was something you like a snack, something you can nibble from your fridge and so on. And they were able to change it and to turn it in a real alternative of a quality meal. So I think this was amazing. They travel around all of our country, and they carefully selected the best quality ingredients, and they started to create, this story, this wonderful story that has been written along the time by different people, and each of them has enriched it with something special. So we usually, me and Antonio, my husband, which is also my business partner, we like to consider ourselves like sort of, as I told you maybe in our first conversation, like sort of custodians of this brand, because we got it from someone else. And one day we know that we should leave the testimony is correct? To someone else who will come forward and who will bring something new, something special to the story. So when we celebrate our 40th anniversary, we wanted we start thinking about our legacy. And that's why we decided to try to add something meaningful and became a B Corp.
Beautiful. Exactly. And what you were saying, that's exactly where I wanted to take you. That's an amazing story. And and every time I hear it, I really love how you describe it, because I mean, you can tell that it's authentic, and you can tell, you know, there's respect for the territory, for the land, for you know, of course, for the Made in Italy brand. I'll say it's one of the biggest brands in the world. And El Panino, you know, like you hear all the tourists, I mean, yes, I was in Piazza Duomo, we had a panino, you know, it's such an Italian thing. And exactly, out of something so simple, you know, this came through, which is, you know, at the basis of human leadership, and, you know, and authenticity is be who we are and express who we really are and what we believe in, and what our passion is. And so you mentioned this B Corp, and this is a huge leadership experience and endeavor that you have taken, because I looked into B Corp, of course, you know, like you know, in the interview, and every time we chat, like I go look into it more, and you know, like the standards of transparency, accountability, performance, and sustainability. Talking about legacy and what you're going to leave to the future. Nowadays, it's urgent to ride that wave, right? It is proven that I think it's like 77% of the younger generations choose a company also more based on the values and what they stand for and the impact that they're going to have in society. So I think this is a beautiful thing, and I would like you to talk a little bit about what it is, what it means, and how you apply it in your company.
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much. So 2 years ago, during our anniversary, we decided, you know, to make a step forward, to do a step forward. So together with our managers, we set up a new vision for Panino Giusto, to make the world a better place for a panino, which is very ambitious. I think that, you know, in Italian, it sounds a little bit better, because we would say to make the world more giusto for a panino. Exactly. And giusto, you know, it's an adjective in Italy, which in Italian, which means fair, equal, inclusive, correct, right. So we want to stand up for our name, to essere all'altezza of our name. And so we were looking, I was looking for something, for a tool which can help us, you know, to measure, to gauge, you know, our commitment. And I found out that this amazing community of benefit companies around the world. So benefit companies are companies which decided to go behind profit and, you know, to consider in their strategies and their decision, not only their shareholders' interest, but their stakeholders' interest. So every time you have a new project, you value the impact on your community, on your customers, on your workers, and on your environment. And I think this is extremely amazing. So you need obviously to become part, to get this kind of certification is not like a picnic, you know, it's very challenging. You need to pass this BIA, which is Benefit Impact Assessment, which investigates all the processes of your companies in 5 main areas. So your governance, your workers, community, clients, and environment. So for example, your greenhouse gas emission, the benefits that you give to your workers, the transparency of your governance, etc., etc. So around the world, there are about 140,000 companies nowadays who are trying to, you know, to measure their commitment through this tool. And there are 4,000 companies which got so far this certification. I'm very proud to say that Panino Giusto is the very first Italian company in the business restaurant to get this kind of certification.
And sorry to interrupt you, but I think that just that makes, I mean, not that you're first in Italy, but the fact that it's something that you don't get like tax exemptions for, like, you don't get benefits.
No, absolutely.
What I admire and respect so much is because, you know, like, you really do it because you really believe in the cause. And you know, that's what leadership is about, right? When you do something that is so sexy, so impactful, that others want to do it too.
Absolutely. And it is also so important for our colleagues, our workers, our employees, because it was not only my decision and Antonio decision, because it would not be enough. We need to involve everybody. That's why we decided to make this step to, you know, this decision together with our closest managers, because we needed to influence all of our companies. We needed to share with them the same values, and we need to be, you know, a little community. We are Panino Giusto community, and we want to promote and believe in certain values. And as you were saying before, it's not only a pride for me as an entrepreneur to, you know, to believe, you know, to do the right thing for my company. It's also very important for involving, you know, new talents and to engage your clients, because this new generation, it's, I mean, wonderful. They are so powerful. They know what is happening behind the scene, and they want to make their choice according to the values. You know, sometimes I think when I was younger and I went out for restaurant, I didn't ask myself, oh my God, where did this meat come from? When I got my ring from my fiancé, I didn't ask myself, oh my God, is this a blood diamond or is this a pearl? You know, now this new generation have this knowledge that we didn't have, you know, and they can make the difference, and they can turn stuff, you know, in a certain direction. So from a little wave, we can tsunami together. All together, we can make the difference. So this is also something. Sorry,
especially with
I'm speaking too much.
Of course, no. It's because, I mean, there's so much in, you know, in there. No, especially with social media, you know, because you need to be coherent. O sea, if you don't, you know, do what you promise you do, or if you're not what you promised you are, that's, you know, it's gonna fall through. It's gonna show, and it's not gonna go well. O sea,
no, it's not gonna last. Absolutely. And your employees would not follow you. They would not stand. They would not accept to work for a company they do not, you know, share the values with. It's so important for them, for us. And I think that this generation, probably, you have daughters like me, I have 3 kids, you know, in a certain way, they are better than us, because they are so, these values are so important for them. They want to make to do their part.
Strong conviction about what they believe in. Yes, exactly. And that's, you know, and that's where the role model is also. You told me one phrase once in one of our conversations that I love, that you said, in Italian, il bello del ruolo che posso fare qualsiasi cosa. The beautiful of having this role is that I can do whatever I want. And this is a key concept, because you are so humble and you're so authentic, and you say it not out of, you know, I have this role so I can have the power, but it's, you know, it goes in that conversation of really working with people, you know, having you work so much with women, you know, you enhancing your programs in your company, and then that diversity, you have all these this program I saw on diversity, right? Of
Cucinare per ricominciare.
Cucinare per ricominciare, which is cook to restart. And I've been in your beautiful premises, and you have like Accademia del Panino, all this conversation of diversity and inclusion. It's really nice. And one thing that I want to pass, especially to women, is this ownership of having the role, of having a role of power, but not for the power, but for the impact we can have, no, for the things that we can do. It's so much easier to do something when you know that your mortgage is being taken care of, and that you know, your payroll is fine. No.
Yeah, I think that, this power that you're talking about is like a sort of freedom, that I'm very lucky and I can apply in my company. And what I'm learning, outside my job, because we are all connected. So what I'm learning, all the new ideas and information that are, helping me to improve, I try to share with my employees, because I think, and I would love to make, for women in my company things, a little bit easier. It was not easy for me. There are a lot of prejudice. There are a lot of unconscious bias in my culture, in the culture I grew up with. Yes. And I also realized this relating with my daughter, because you compare yourself and the way you grew up with your, with the new generation. And I wanted to try to give some helpful tools to girls, to women, to young women. I know how it's difficult when you become a mother and trying to combine, to find a balance between your work and your personal life. I'm also always very impressed when I listen to the story of these young refugees and their desire to, to restart in a new country and to be a positive part of our society. So having this idea that you can do your, tiny part, your little part, is something that makes you feel like an active part of this society. Yes. And maybe you can help someone, and you can, obviously you feel better, and you can create a positive environment around you and around people who are working with you.
You can actually feel that sense of well-being, but I would call it like a sense of belonging when you go in your company. It just feels comfortable. Not quite, like a family. People say, at the end we're there, to work, but it's better if you work somewhere where you feel that you're part of something and where you feel that you belong, and you can smell that, feel that when you walk in your
Thank you. This is so nice. Yesterday, Nancy, we celebrated my husband 50 anniversary. Yes. And in our company, they make him a surprise with a huge cake with paddle racket, which is his favorite sport. And after so many months, after so many challenges, that this pandemic has a huge impact on our business. So we had a very hard time, and it's still difficult. It was so nice to, beautiful. After so many months, to be all together and everybody talk about how they feel. And we were saying, my husband said, sometimes, we have this crazy idea because we want to be a good company, we want to perform well, but we also want to create a good environment. We want to have people happy to, offer a high quality, PANINO, but at the same time, create this atmosphere where people can, realize themselves inside our company. I know it's a huge dream, but it makes us feel better because we are, before being employees, before being, professional, we are all person, we are all people, and we all want to find our place in the world.
Right. So let me ask you about you then, because something else, that you told me is like, when I stopped, because you come from a family of entrepreneurs in an area of Italy that is very work oriented, and it's very like, all these family businesses. So the expectation is to continue the business and what you're supposed to do and what you're not supposed to do. And so one thing you told me is like, like I started being me when I let go of all those unconscious bias that you were saying, when I left that character of expectations from others and I started being myself, which is the bottom line of my work and the bottom line of the story of all of us, right? Sooner or later, we make peace with our past, and we just use it and then move forward. So you are married, you have three kids, you own a big company, you have all the B Corp papers to take care of all the time. So what is your secret? I mean, what would you recommend people to be themselves and to stay centered, aligned, and train their emotional muscle? How do you do it?
I try to do it. I mean, sometimes I fail, sometimes I succeed. It's always,
Yes.
How can I say, an ongoing process.
Yes.
What I find out, I think 3-4 years ago, I had a big crisis because I was trying to keep everything under control. I had this idea that I should be perfect in every situation, and what I was trying to do was never enough. I was not enough as a mother, as a partner, as a businesswoman, as in every role I was playing in my life. And then I realized I start to work inside myself, to look inside myself and to try the real Elena, my potential, my essence, which was not a bad copy of everyone else. Mm-hmm. I should not follow this perfection model. I should try to be the best version of myself. So everything started from knowing better myself. This is one of the things that I usually say, that aging has this huge advantage, that you start, being more comfortable with yourself.
Yes, I agree.
And when I started being more comfortable with myself and trying to find my style, my way, I got more confidence. I started feeling at ease with people, and things became easier. And I also started to accept that I could not be perfect, that sometimes I made, as everybody, mistakes, and I could be forgiven for my mistakes. It was not a drama. Everybody makes mistakes.
Yes.
And this was where everything started. I think that you need to find your place in the world, first of all, with yourself. And then probably you also became a little bit of, you lead your life, and consequentially, maybe you find someone who wants to follow you, because, it wants to find his own word. I don't know if I was explaining very well, but the meaning is that.
And what you just said, you just summarized, therapies that people do for years, or, coaching programs. At the end of the day, it all goes down to that. I'm a true believer of this knowing thyself. And once you know yourself well and you know how to manage yourself, then you can feel at peace that you can manage what life brings you, right? But when we look outside our expectations of what we're supposed to do or what we want other people to do for us, that's where we don't grow and in our confidence and in our center. Thank you so much. That was beautiful, Elena.
Thank you, Nancy.
Let's if it's okay with you, let's do a last game, which is like a quick Q&A. So
okay.
Tell you a name and you do an answer, so we stay in our times. Just a few words and just do what comes,
immediate.
Okay, so let's start. Let's say panino.
Giusto.
That was easy. Sorry, that was. Giusto. What's right?
Fair, equal, inclusive, correct.
Okay. Leadership?
To be a guide.
Awareness?
Knowledge. I don't know how to say.
Knowledge. Creativity?
Mixing things in a new way. Find a new way.
The future?
Shining.
Men?
Partners.
Women?
Equal. We are different, but we are equal.
Italy?
A wonderful country. And the more I'm working, and the more I find out that I was lucky to be born here. Wonderful country.
I agree with you. Thank you so much, Elena. Thank you so much. It's really a pleasure to hear you, to see you, because everything seems so simple when one talks to you, right? I mean, you're like,
thank you.
Look at you, you look young and fresh, and you have your kids going on, and the board that's behind you is with homework and your to-dos, and yet you bring forward what you believe in a beautiful and inspiring way. So thank you so much to you and to Antonio for the work you're doing, and please continue doing this and whatever is to come.
And thank you, Nancy, for your beautiful positive energy, which is influence everybody around you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Elena. Ciao.
Bye bye. Ciao.